We recognised at the Chamber that not enough support was in place for businesses across the board of all sizes, small, medium and large, for support with BIM and training for BIM. We recognise that in order to hit the government target or deadline for 2016 for public procurement contracts, we would need to perhaps step in and do something to assist our small businesses or small, medium and large businesses to ensure that they had the relevant skills that they needed or knowledge to make that journey into BIM. So at the time we were successful in winning European social funding through skills support for the workforce, which enabled us to develop a programme which effectively takes people from no understanding of BIM to becoming a BIM champion.
Visual Project, it's a 3-day multidisciplinary course where we have an entire design team, project team come together over the course of 3 days. It's in a risk-free environment and they have the opportunity to work through a virtual project, something that we've staged prior to obviously the delivery of the project. And all the delegates get the opportunity to look at the project from a strategic point of view as well as a technical point of view. So over the course of the 3 days, it starts off looking at the government strategy with regard to BIM and the mandate, then looking at the typical documentation that would be be implemented on a project that requires BIM. And working that up together as a team. From then we will then look at the design, something that we've pre-prepared, and get the delegates the opportunity to get hands-on onto laptops, onto the software, experience what it's like in a 3D environment, working collaboratively over the course of the 3 days. They have the opportunity to do some clash detection, some energy analysis, 4D construction simulation. We've got the estimators and quantity surveyors doing costing, hopefully coming up with a sort of cost for the actual project itself, in line with the design brief that they're given at the start of the project. There's also a load of data exchanges, information exchanges and so on, looking at COBie drop 1, 2 and 3. And by doing that we have the opportunity to show them the different tools that can produce these outputs. Fantastic opportunity for everybody to work together collaboratively, see the sort of benefit of working either co-located or via a common data environment. We're actually using 4 projects for the course. They've been kind enough to sort of offer that to us. And then by the end of the 3 days, hopefully the delegates have an opportunity to look at the business sort of development plan or a business case to take back to the company to see how they can implement that within the company and if it's feasible. Obviously there's a lot of training involved and so on, but yeah, hopefully it gives the delegates a good insight as to what a project is like in BIM.
I've looked around at a few courses. I've been on a couple of other courses. I found other courses to be more to do with Revit than the actual whole BIM process. So I was quite keen when I seen the agenda and went through the day by day what we'd be doing, the fact that it'd be kind of like a role play. You'd be taking on roles within a team to deliver a BIM project to level 2. So that's what really sort of caught my attention, and the fact that it was done through the Chamber of Commerce sort of for me made it seem like it would be a good course, and it just put their stamp of approval on it, that I didn't think it was just going to be another sales gimmick that I've been on, where I've been invited on courses and you go and all they're trying to do is sell you the software, etc. So it gave me the confidence that it'd be a good course.
BIM's something which I've been interested in since university because it was briefly introduced to us then. I'm conscious that new technologies are coming into our industry, and that's why I want to get to know a little bit more about them and see how they can benefit my company. Yes, I have been on other BIM courses before, but they've only been 1 hour CPDs, and they've basically just been case studies of projects which have involved BIM, and they've not been interactive sessions like this. It's definitely developed my skills because I know in the training there are people with varying abilities and experience with BIM. I'm probably at the lower end of the spectrum where it's all new to me, so it's great experience. The 3 days allows me to not only understand the concepts of BIM but the different software that is available to us, the software that's free, paid, and it will just enable me to go back to my employer with potentially a case study for us to fund this in our workplace. I think that's probably one of my favourite things about the course, not only the course subject but the way it's been planned and managed. The type of people that have been invited on the course, it's a variety of people and us all working together has worked quite well. The interactive sessions have enabled me to understand what it's all about and not just be sort of dictated to or talked to about the capabilities of BIM. I've had a chance to get involved, which was quite nice. In taking the experience that I've had from this course, I'd like to go back and present a case study to my organisation to see whether this is something which can add value to our business and especially to our clients. I think the most challenging thing is convincing some of my peers that this technology is the way forward and is something that our clients are going to be looking for in the coming years, and we need to be prepared for that. And I think this is why we should be dealing with it now.
I first heard of the course about a year and a half ago at an event in Liverpool, and when we set up the business we were always quite keen to look at sort of more efficient workflows within our office, and obviously with BIM going on we thought this is something we should really get involved in early doors as we set up. So we started off with Revit and trying to get us ready for BIM, but the difficulty we have as a small business is on the project side. We haven't really had the opportunity yet to work collaboratively or experience what is involved to get to level 2 or even beyond. So this course for us is a fantastic opportunity to see where are we at this stage, how does the process work, and what do we still need to do to sort of get there and particularly be ready for next year. For me, it's the first time I had an opportunity to experience it with other disciplines as well, which I think was incredibly valuable, because you just see they come to it from a complete different angle and they get different requirement. And there's one thing I've taken out of it is it's the understanding that it is a sort of collaborative process and you almost need people involved early days, because there's no point in me setting up my systems in isolation if I then don't produce information of any value to the rest of the team or later on contractors or the client itself.
Obviously it's good that we have a lot of different members of the design aspect of construction, or whether there's certain types and contractors and the like. So seeing what they want out of it and how they want to interact rather than just having to interact. It's seeing where their drive is, so you can understand what, especially as a technician and coordinator myself, actually creating the model. There's nothing worse than just creating sheets and then just somebody going, that's great. But to have people want to get into my model and interrogate it and use the information, it is very useful. And seeing how they do it gives me a very good aspect for the technician side to know what they're after. So
yeah, it's been really good, because obviously the BIM courses that I've done previously are very much from an architectural side. So it's actually quite nice to see the other teams operating in close proximity and how they actually develop the models, because I think previously it's always been the architects developing their particular model, which isn't really working in a BIM environment. I understand that more now. You know, it's basically everybody working together, full collaboration. I did work on the town hall for 9 months, and you could see the real benefits and everybody basically feeding into that. If we don't embrace BIM and move forward, then you might as well turn the lights off and go home, because this is where the future is, this is where the industry is going, without a shadow of a doubt.
The interesting thing about Virtual Project is the theory is that we can use it for the smallest companies and we can use it for the largest companies. We can use it for construction companies and consultants, and that the proof is in the pudding. It will work and benefit all sizes and all natures of organisations within the construction industry. The course allows participants to engage in a project using BIM tools and techniques without any risk at all. This is a splendid way to really test where you are, where you want to go.